This is a WKYT podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Conversations with Victor and Andrea. Andrea, how you doing today?
I'm good. Well, I'm good, but my back has been killing me, which I think we even mentioned it in the podcast. Do we? I don't know.
You were pulling weeds?
Yes, and I got hours I spent pulling weeds because I could not stop.
You know, just moderate physical activity is just a good idea. So it's probably a good thing that you...
I think this has painted a vivid picture of where I stand in my physical fitness journey. Very low.
So, that's it.
At the bottom. Just move, Andrea. Every now and then, just a
little bit of movement.
But
I like your hair. You've got it's a little lighter in spots, I've noticed.
No, it's streaked.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to Dita Gregory at Salon Blue who does my hair for me. She's awesome. And if you like my hair, go see her. And if you don't bother emailing me because I like it right now. So.
Oh, have there been people who don't like it?
No, not this haircut or specifically, but in the past, more so in Bowling Green. But you know how people are. They just are very opinionated.
I do know how people are. Well, so what have you got going on? Today, Election Day. As we're recording this, it'll come out tomorrow.
I'm very anxious. I made a passionate plea to you on who you should vote for.
You did, and I just ignored you completely. But,
Really?
I'll think about it. Well, I've yet to go vote. I'm going to this afternoon. I'm going to break.
I think I'm right.
The good news is, it's sad that such low turnout, but the good news is
12.5%.
you can get, and that's the estimate. But the good news is you can get in and out. So really, no reason not to. You don't have to wait in the line. The weather's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does disappoint me. And Allison Lundergan Grimes said she had a great soundbite yesterday where she said that more people will go to Walmart on Election Day than will vote, which is so depressing. And it's just so different because in November, a lot of people showed up because there was that heated race between Amy McGrath and Andy Barr, and I feel like a lot of people came out for that. So, but
you also, the other issue is our infrastructure for voting is, it could be improved because once you get up to 30-40% turnout, suddenly you've got lines and people waiting, and then you've got people who are like, well, I've got an hour.
Right.
On my lunch break, if I can't get in and out, when am I supposed to come be able to do this? So, a lot of people don't realize.
It can be tough, but I think that a lot of employers are understanding. I think they like if you, maybe not in our business because we don't.
Hours, I feel pretty. I feel like hours are pretty good, especially I've been able to vote pretty much every time while I've been working. But you still have to hit your deadline. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I just have to be aware of my deadlines. But a lot of like factories, that kind of stuff. If you work, you're expected to be there, and you're either going to have to figure out real early. If you got kids, it's just difficult.
It is.
I remember,
difficult.
as a young one, waiting in line with my mom so she could vote after she'd pick me up from school, and then we'd go.
Buttons?
Sometimes.
That was always my favorite. Yeah. I loved pushing the buttons.
So, it gets hard, but people, get out there, do it if you can. A lot of people are able to absentee ballots. You can, in Kentucky, if you're not going to be able to vote that day, you can do it ahead of time. I think a lot of people don't realize that that's something they could sign up for.
I'm just fascinated by how other countries do elections. I listened to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about Ireland, and you vote not just for the person you want to win. You vote first, second, third choice. Like, you rank people.
Really?
And that all factors in, and it's incredible. I really think that it's almost a more accurate depiction of how people feel.
Yeah, but that's true because you're like, okay, this is who I really want. But if they're not going to win, I guess I'll take this person.
Right, I'd be okay with this person as well.
Because then you have other people who are either first or last on people.
You don't have to pick all of them. You can just, if you think there are two people that would be good at the job. Because, honestly, for me today, I'm torn in a few races. And it's almost like you'd like to at least give some support. It's all or nothing.
Let them do it one day a week, Yeah.
Y'all just split the job.
Or then you've got other places where people, after they vote, they'll stick their thumb in ink so that they can't come back and vote a second time. You have to double check.
That would ever happen.
No, people would never do that. All right. Well, we're going to get to our conversation today with Miss Alexa Wingate.
Mm-hmm. She's a big personality. And we even
a firecracker.
She is, and we all just love her. There are people that come in, because she's relatively new. Mm-hmm. So she's kind of reshaped the newsroom in a way. There are some people that can make a big difference on the vibe in the room. And I think she's one of those people in a good way.
I agree.
I
agree.
Yeah.
Get some youth in there. She's kind of feisty. She lets people know how it is.
I know. And I appreciate it. I think it's good to see people that are just unfiltered.
That's what I told her. I told her she was unfiltered, and she's like, "Yep, I am."
She owns it, and she says she got it from her mama.
And that's a good thing, That way you always know where you stand with somebody.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
She even talks about how the one time I made it on her list.
You did. She told me about it.
In my defense, my story was, I don't want to say late. It was very tight on time.
Did you make it?
Well, she floated me because she was afraid I wouldn't, which I understand as a producer. You're like, I don't know if the story's going to come. I've got to move you down. So then she put another story in my slot. But had she just been like, Victor will make it, it would have aired in time.
Right.
Now, granted, the issue there is, if I hadn't made it, then she would have went to a black hole, which would have looked real bad on her part. So
true.
She probably did the correct thing. I'm just saying it was there technically. On a technicality, yeah, I still probably messed up. Anyway, here's
that happens to me too. Because I'll write headlines a lot of times in the mornings, and I'll cut it close, and they'll cut it right before, and it'll be like the best one that gets cut, and I'm like, it's there.
I know.
Just let me read it. But
my issue sometimes too is just anchoring the 4 o'clock. Sometimes I'll have to write ahead of time, and then I'll have to edit that half hour between 4:30 and 5, and it gets a little tight.
In a weird way, I'm like, just let me do it. Let me wing it. Because I like being creative. It's like, that's just good practice. Like, that's a good muscle to exercise, since I don't exercise my real ones.
That's true.
Just, having to be on the spot, like, hey, you got time to fill it. So I enjoy that kind of thing.
All right. Well, here's our conversation with Alexa. Hello, everyone. We are here. Why are you laughing?
No reason. Let's focus.
Andrea, I'll let you introduce our guest today.
All right. So today we have one of our producers here at this station who, in true producer fashion, is very nervous to be here talking on a podcast because you're not used to being in front of the camera. That's or, true. Behind the microphone. But we have Alexa Wingate with us today.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. And we're doing this on Election Day, so I know you're busy, and we appreciate you taking a few minutes to hang out with us.
She's just
talk.
like, all right, let's hurry up and get this over with. Like, I got a show to go take care of.
Yeah. Brevity is
got
not
some live
my
shots today.
I've got anchors I've got to wrangle.
Yep.
Yeah.
One in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's not me.
Anyway, Alexa, let's start. You're from Lexington?
I'm from Lexington, born and raised.
So that's the thing. We've had quite a few producers we've talked to who've been from here. So growing up, did you watch WKYT?
My parents were more on it was really my grandparents. They watched it. I just was there.
It was just on in the background?
Yeah. I didn't really watch the news growing up. I actually didn't watch the news until I graduated college.
Just keeping it real. So just telling the truth.
And I work in news.
No, it's okay. I don't think you're the only one. Trust me.
Just being real honest. So I guess at what point did you realize that this might be a career that would what was your career path?
So I started school for pharmacy because I was like, I need to be money. I need money.
Yes.
Then I realized I absolutely hate chemistry. It's not my thing. Numbers, formulas, periodic table. I just didn't like it. And then I was like, well, I like to write. I used to write short stories all the time when I was little. I had this little journal, but I used to literally make up stories and write all these weird stories. I was 7. It's somewhere in my house. And then
nice.
So I was like, okay, what lets you write? And I was like, I'll report. I'll be on camera. Well, then going through school, I realized I liked being the boss. Producers kind of have that. Producers have that kind of that role. So I was like, well, I guess I'll produce. So
that's why I miss producing so much.
Yeah, so I don't have the worry of being on camera and all that stuff.
So then did you switch majors?
Yeah, I switched majors after my first semester
so
of college.
You're learning to work in the news business, and you're like, I'll watch the news later. I don't need to.
Yeah, never watched the news. I was forced to watch it, obviously, for school. So I watched it then, but then I didn't actually get into it until I started writing for it, and then I realized, the news is actually interesting.
So what did your family think? Yeah.
If you're a good writer.
Yeah, right.
What did your family think when you told them, I'm going to go work at WKYT?
They were excited. Well, I didn't initially start here. I started in Fort Myers, Florida. So At first it was oh, by the way, I just accepted a job in Fort Myers. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, I'm moving. And they were excited for me to move, but they didn't actually really know. I mean, half my family still doesn't even know what I do. I'm pretty sure my boyfriend doesn't even really know what I do.
Keep it that way.
Yeah. So he has a gist of it, but they don't really know. So they think it's cool that I work here, but they don't actually know what I do.
So because you all can't see Alexa, she's beautiful, and I think most people would assume you'd be on camera if they walked into the newsroom, So when did you make that decision? Was it in year 1, year 3?
My final semester of college.
Semester.
My very last semester. I was going to be on air the entire time. My final semester of college, I decided that I wanted to produce. But I still go back and forth. I might be on camera one day. Like I might, choose to do.
I'll probably let you do it here.
I've always wondered why you don't, because I feel like you'd be good.
Well, it's just, there's other complications that led up to that decision. But the ultimate thing was, I don't know, like now that I haven't been on camera, I haven't been in front of a camera since 2016. So now I'm like a little nervous to be on a camera.
Like
but my ideal would be like to produce during the week and then maybe like report on the weekends.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Like that would be like my ideal thing to do like eventually. But I don't know. Because then I had to give up my weekends.
So then the performance aspect, it seems like for those of you, Alexa also does a lot of stuff with cheerleading.
I do, yeah.
And so it seems like that kind of translates into as far as performance stuff.
Yeah, so.
What all do you do? You're currently coaching?
Yeah, I coach now for Frederick Douglass. I'm an assistant coach, which is totally different than being like on the mat. Because as a cheerleader, you perform. You're not afraid of anything. You're super confident. You're like in front of hundreds of people all the time.
Which is, I would think that would translate some to being able to perform in front of the camera. Right,
which it does. So, like, in college, I never had a problem being on camera. I didn't care at all. It did not bother me. And then it just, now that I haven't done it in so long, because now I'm coaching, so I'm behind the scenes in everything I do now. So now it's like, if I got back in front of it, it would be like, I'd say it'd take me about, like, 2 weeks before I got used to it again. And then I'd probably be fine. About 2 weeks, though. That's about
2 weeks?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Most people, I think it would take a lot longer.
No, probably, yeah.
I think you'd be a natural. Shy. Yeah, you'd be a natural.
Yeah, you're not that shy.
Yeah, I'm not that
agree
shy.
With that.
I mean, I'm kind of nervous right now, but I'm not a shy person. I'll pretty much talk to anyone.
Actually, she does. Because you are our go-to person when somebody has done something in Lexington and, like, we have to do Facebook stalking to track them down. Alexa always comes through. And I think that is because you're from here. You just know so many people.
Yeah, especially Facebook. So, back then when Facebook was, like, coming up, you just accepted everything. Cause then
back when you were in elementary school?
More like middle school.
Okay, all right.
But, like, back then you weren't worried about, like, predators online and stuff. So you were just accepting everyone.
Mm-hmm. Like, y'all can see the quotations around predators.
Well, you know what I mean. So, like, you weren't worried about that. So I have, like, 4,900 friends. And almost all of them are from Lexington. So it's, like, when something happens, I'm always going to know. I tell Pope and them all the time, just watch my timeline because it's newsworthy. I promise. Like, my timeline knows everything. Like, mugshots pop up, RIPs pop up, opinions pop up. I'm telling you, I know everything.
And she does.
Well, my timeline knows everything.
So what's it like trying to wrangle all of us? Because that is a big part of your job is, if you're responsible for a show, making sure that everybody's on time, people are where they're supposed to be.
She met you the other day.
Oh, God. Victor, last week you were on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa has a list.
You and Adam Burniston.
It's kind of a hit list.
Oh, Adam got on my list for defending you.
I may have heard about this.
Did you really? Yeah. I always wondered if you heard about it. But then you, like, made it better, like, the following week because you, like, came through for me.
All right. Well,
you were, like, early on time. Everything was good. And I was like, okay, Victor.
Well done.
And then your package was long, and I was under on time. And I was like, okay, Victor. I was like, Victor just, like, got himself off my list today.
Himself.
Wow. That's good to know. I'm glad I came through.
So Adam can thank you because he came off my list when you came off my list.
When I came off,
yeah.
he was there by proxy.
Yeah, my list is not fun.
No, it is not.
But no, all of our reporters are good. It's just sometimes they get distracted.
No.
I definitely get distracted.
I get distracted too. You should see me try to hit a deadline. It's
I'm
like,
the same way.
Lindsay's like, I know when you're focused because you put those headphones on, but like sometimes you got to listen to what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, but I also got a deadline to hit, so I can't listen to what's going on.
I can't get distracted. I have to focus.
So now I have like one ear on, one ear off to like try to do both, I guess. I don't know.
See, I think Miranda was one of the people that said, I have to have these deadlines or I'll never get anything done. And I feel like I'm the same way. Like, if they weren't there...
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't get done.
Yes.
You just procrastinate.
I need the deadlines.
Yeah.
Even though they're frustrating and, like, drive you crazy.
Yeah.
If they weren't there, it'd be anarchy.
It helps the day go by.
It does.
Because you have, like, a certain time to do stuff. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, if I get it done by then, like, it's almost time to go.
Yeah. So what were some of the things that surprised you about the news? You know what I mean? Since you didn't grow up watching it, what were some of the things that, like, you're like, oh, I didn't ever think about
just, like,
that?
the trend of, like, what we report on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we report on so many, like, deadly crashes and so many shootings and then, like, elections. Politics is all new to me because I personally don't like them. And in Fort Myers, we weren't near Tallahassee, so we didn't have to really cover it. We only, my first few months in Florida, it was the presidential election. So I field produced a Hillary Clinton campaign that was 2 hours away. But that was as far as I touched politics. Other than that, we did not touch it. Here, we're 20 minutes from Frankfort, so all we talk about are politics. So the politics is and I told Pope, I was I can't. I was when politics come up, I was you got to check everything I write. I was 'cause I just don't get it. I just don't, it's just too much that goes on. And that's the most shocking thing for me, is just how involved that we are with politics and how much people actually do care. Because now I care because I talk about it all the time. But before I got here, so that was up until last March, I just never paid attention.
You know what? It takes so much confidence to say, I don't get that. You know what I mean? Because most people are too afraid to admit that they're not good at something. So I respect that so much, because I will fake it till I make it. I've looked dumb for doing it before, because you can tell.
What, Andrea?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's so good that you were willing to say that, and you've learned and you've gotten better. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, now I kind of now I get it. But it took me, it literally took me a whole year. The first legislative session last year was awful. And then it was all about pensions. So I was what is a pension? I'm so what? So what does that mean? And everyone's looking at me what do you mean you don't know what a pension is? I'm I don't know, because I don't have a pension. I don't know.
There's so much minutia. I spent an entire session covering stuff, and there would still be people at the end of it going well, this is a public, but this is private. This, and I'm well, I still don't know what we're talking about. What have I done?
Yeah,
that's the scary part. See, that's how I feel about anything involving court cases. I don't know what the next step of a court case is, and
those I'm comfortable with.
Yes, you are the king of those, and I hate it, because I'm oh no.
I'm still differentiating those two, the hearing and the arraignment and
preliminary hearing.
Yeah.
I know sentencing though. I got you on the trial and the sentencing. I know the end. The beginning, I don't have the beginning.
Well, and a lot of it too is stuff that people won't realize unless
you should make a cheat sheet for us.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I would buy that.
That sounds like more work. It's also stuff that, a lot of times the general public won't pick up on, that you're doing stuff wrong, but people who work in that industry will. Because for the longest time at arraignments, we would say, such and such entered pleaded not guilty, entered a not,
Yeah, and then you sent out that.
Well, and that's the thing. And so I went to a conference with some local attorneys that was specifically for the media, and they said one of their pet peeves was whenever we said that, because at a felony arraignment, they have no choice but to enter a not guilty plea for them. So then we changed our wording to, they had a not guilty plea entered for them. And realistically, the only people who that helped was
the lawyers.
Attorneys sitting at home going, oh, they said that properly.
Yay!
Yeah,
but
that's it.
It's also accurate. And so, I was just glad that
I think
it caught on.
9 out of 10 people don't know there's a difference between a burglary and a robbery. You make
True.
that mistake here.
Yeah.
Right.
I say the people be like, oh no, I've been robbed. And it's well, did they take something by force? No, exactly. they broke into my house. Okay, then you were burglarized.
Yeah, then you were robbed.
But to the general public, it just sounds
it doesn't matter.
Pedantic and like you're
right.
Yeah, they think it's all the same.
Well, we have grammar police around here for sure. We've got Barbara Bailey is one of them, and I think Dick Gabriel's the king.
And,
he has the passive aggressive emails that I love, even if they're directed at me, and I know it's at me. I remember American Pharaoh. I say Pharaoh instead of Pharaoh, and he sends it out to everyone. I'm just that's me.
Thanks. Sorry.
Yeah.
You didn't have to send out an email for that. You could just told me.
Marvin Bartlett's also really good. He is less passive aggressive. I know that he's a resource. So a lot of times if I have a question, I'm like, Marvin, and he'll just be like, yes.
He's one of the sweetest people.
You did that.
He is, and I sent
you were wrong there, but here's how I can help you get better. Thank you, Marvin.
So, Alexa, what did you think of personalities when you got here? Because you've got a big personality, and there are a lot of big personalities.
Yeah,
you're also kind of unfiltered.
Which we love.
Sorry.
No, I'm down.
I'm very unfiltered. I just don't care. I'm just going to say it. It actually gets me in trouble, though, because I don't think before I speak sometimes.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Oh, thank you.
Have you always been like that?
Always.
Yeah.
I get that from my mom.
Okay.
She's very, just say it. She's very opinionated. She said if it's on her heart, she's got to get it off her heart, and she's just going to say it.
There's something refreshing about that. You know how somebody feels about you. I mean, that's the thing. You're not sitting there going oh, I wonder if she's...
Stab me in the front, not the back.
Right.
I
wonder if she's mad at me.
Yeah, I totally get that from my mom.
Okay.
I totally get it from her. Deshibo, shout out. But no, the personalities here, it just depends. We have those few 3, 4, 5 people that have a lot to say or act certain ways that are just, you just have to deal with it.
Right.
And then there are some that just never talk. And you're just like, okay, can you talk to me? Like, do you talk?
We work in communications. Yeah.
Like, Clark just started talking to me like 3 months ago. I just heard him say a full paragraph, and I was like, oh, you talk.
I haven't got much out of Clark either, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And I
some
like
people
Clark.
You pull teeth from. Even some reporters you have to, like, Hillary scared me.
Oh, Hillary and Kristen both scared me.
She was so intimidating. Kristen, not really, because I interned with Lee K and, like, in sports and stuff. So, like, Kristen was, like, fine, but Hillary, she was kind of scary. I'm like, man, you're always in Frankfurt.
Well,
like,
she's
you're like,
so smart.
Yeah,
You know,
she knows her stuff.
Yeah, and then, like, I talked to her. She's actually really funny.
Yes.
And, like, really laid back and, like, she's really,
you
know, she cracks me up.
She rivals you with, like, resources. Like, Hillary knows everything.
Yeah, she knows a lot. And she knows, like, the important people. I just know, like, you know, people in the city. She knows, like, the people in the city.
Yeah, we know the people doing the crimes.
Yeah.
She knows the people that
like,
are prosecuting.
Like, right. Like, she knows the people.
Yeah.
So she's really connected.
You and I have some things in common where, like, we see some of our friends or, like, former classmates pop up in our stories, and you're just like, oh, yep. I know that.
I mean, every time somebody gets arrested in Powell County, it's pretty much.
Oh, yeah, you know, too. You know everything in Powell County.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. You know, your exes pop up, prom dates pop up.
And then Andrea tells everybody that you went to prom with that girl.
The point of that story is don't tell Andrea something you don't want the entire nation
to know.
to
Because Andrea's going to tell it all.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
She
Andrea,
cannot keep
don't,
a secret.
No.
Everybody knows, though.
She can't hold water.
That's true.
No.
I would never tell Andrea a secret. Ever.
But I'll
She'd
try to
be
find
like,
out.
She will. She's a good digger.
Yeah,
That's
like
why
she
you're
wants to know, but then
yeah.
she can't keep it secret once she does know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Alexa and I have work husbands, and you're not one of them, unfortunately.
Oh, we do have work
Or
husbands.
fortunately.
Yeah.
So we are both always hanging out in the weather center.
Yeah.
Every day.
Jim's my work husband, and Chris Bailey is your work husband.
Yes.
How did that happen?
I don't know. So, like, the weather center just felt like my escape from my computer. And then Chris turned out to be, like, cool.
Hilarious.
Like, oh, this guy's all right.
It's a mess.
I was like, oh, you're funny. Like, you're, like, yeah, okay. You're not easily offended. Like, you're good company.
Mm-hmm.
So then it just turned into, like, an everyday thing. And then, like, one day I didn't show up, but I showed up the next day, and he, like, mentioned it. And I was like, oh, so this is, like, a thing.
Oh, so we're, like, official friends.
Yeah. And then I didn't realize that him and Jim had, like, a tit for tat until I talked to Jim one day, and Jim, he tells Chris everything if I go down there.
The most jealous two
yes.
men on the planet.
The two of them just go head to head. And then, like, Chris will be like, well, that's why I'm going to hang out with Andrea instead.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have Jim.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, Micah came back the other day to visit.
Oh, last week.
And I had to see him. I had to go talk to him because I worked with him for a long time.
It was like an ex came back into town.
And
was Jim jealous?
I knew as soon as I walked down there, and the next day, I whispered to Bill, I was like, watch, I guarantee you tomorrow he'll say, oh, did you see her come out and lay with Micah Harris? Which means just suck up to him, I guess, that's Jim's word. I think that's the definition. But yeah,
the phrasing of that sounds.
He's like,
not good.
You're talking to me now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you were just laid out with Micah Harris yesterday.
Yeah. I went to the store with Jim last week, and of course he texts Chris. I mean, as soon as I probably got out of the car, and he goes,
children.
I get a text. I mean, like 5 texts, and it's like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, why has Chris texted me? Like, I'm thinking, like, Chris never texts me. Like, we never text. And so, like, during the weekend, I was like, and they're all gifs of, like, I hate you. You're dead to me. I can't believe you. And they're just all gifs of, like, cry faces. And I'm like, and I said, really? You need to get over it. And he's like, you need to make it up to me. And I'm
Another
like, okay.
perfect example of these two. They love your cheerleader drama. Like, they want
I
all
have
of
the
it.
best cheer drama. Well, not anymore because they have a new season, but last year cheer drama was so good.
Wow. So, how many days a week are you involved with the cheer stuff? Because you.
How do you do it all? Yeah.
4
I
days.
was gonna say because it seems.
Well, right now
as
it's
soon as your show's over, you go into the booth with your backpack on.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes
I got
clothes
stuff to go.
changed.
Yeah.
Well, it just depends. So like this week was this week is 4 days because something's going on. I don't know. Mostly it's 3 days a week, but then as soon as like October hits, it's like every day of the week. Like I kid you not, like Monday through Sunday. And so, but that's competition season from like October to February. But I don't know. I work out in the morning. I go to work. I go to cheer. Cheer's like it's not stressful. It's like
you enjoy it.
Yeah, like I decompress at cheer. I can focus on everything but like work. I don't focus on home stuff. Like it's just cheer. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of how it was when I actually cheered in high school my whole life. Because when you get on the mat, you're just on the mat. Mm-hmm. And then you get off the mat, you deal with whatever you got to deal with.
Everybody needs that outlet. Like,
yeah. Cheer got me through a lot of stuff.
You know, like I think everybody has to have that one thing that just.
You have your yard work?
I have my yard work.
Yeah.
Wow. My life is so sad. I have weeds. She has cheerleading.
There you go.
To each his own. All right, so let's talk about, I know that, obviously some of the stories we do get monotonous. Like you said, we do a lot of car wrecks. We do a lot of, such and such robberies. What stories do you enjoy the most? What do you have the most fun with?
The most fun?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have the most fun with any story. Actually, I'm lying. Weather stories? Man, I love a good weather story. Because you have the best video.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best stories. Like, I covered Hurricane Irma in Fort Myers, and I'm telling you, it was like a month of just greatness. Well, it's like the easiest time to get real people's stories, because sometimes we just get like official sound. We do that a lot, but when you actually get like a person, like who's really going through something, that is like that's like my favorite thing.
Really, I was gonna say,
because you're really people that are really the story across.
Yeah, and then I feel like we're making a difference, because sometimes those stories will turn into someone hearing it and helping, and then. Like, that's happened here, like, these dog stories that you two cover actually the most. The, like, cute little dog stories. People actually turn up and, like, help those dogs. And then it's, like, a happy story at the end. So, like, I like the stories that impact the most. Like, I know, like, stores and stuff, like, openings and closings. Like, those are very impactful, too. But at the end of the day, you don't get, like, that people story. So, weather stories are my favorite. And even, like, sometimes, like, the shooting stories, like, when people die. But, like, it's sad that, like, people don't. I'm not going to say it's going to sound bad, but, like, people don't really think about you when you're alive. But as soon as you're gone, like, people want to remember you. So then, like, your family and your friends come out, and they, like, you just turn out to be one of the best people that people get to see who you were, even though something bad happened to you. Mm-hmm. And so, like, any real people story, I love and adore.
I'm with you completely, 100%. That's like Buddy LaRosa.
Yeah, like they're all out. Oh my God, that was the best story ever. No, he was awesome. He was like the cutest little old man I've ever seen.
He might be my soulmate.
Wow.
Your lamp story was cute too.
See, I'm with you. Like, we like the same kind of story. Yeah.
Like people stories. Mm-hmm. Like, we learned about a guy that makes weird lamps. But, like, nobody would know that he made weird lamps unless you knew where his store is.
Mm-hmm. It's Shelby's uncle. Shelby McCuddy's uncle.
See, that's cool.
That guy fixed a lamp for me one time.
See? He's like the lamp guy.
He did, because Mandy had an odd lamp that she needed fixed to mount on a wall. She took it in. He fixed it. When I went to pick it up, he's like,
I know you.
Yeah, I know you. Hey. And then he told me he was Shelby's uncle.
Aw, they're big fans.
Yeah.
They love it. And he's a big fan of the Cincinnati Reds, and they put his lamps in their gift shop.
Yeah, in the Hall of Fame gift shop or whatever. Yeah, it was cool.
Well, all right.
It was like a 2-minute story of greatness.
Well,
I don't know about that, but it was so cute. He was like, when I look at something, I think, how can I make that into a lamp? And it's like, you don't meet people like that, but there are people like that.
Yeah,
those
that
are
just
the
really
characters
passionate.
Like taxidermy animals and stuff? Is he
yes.
like,
probably, yeah. He would totally do that.
Cool.
Oh, I bet he would.
He made a lamp out of baseballs
and
tennis balls.
Mm-hmm. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
All right.
How do you juggle life and children?
Oh, I'm just tired all the time.
Not well.
Wait, is Vera sleeping through the night?
Yeah. Oh, she started that around 3 months old.
Then why are you tired all the time?
Because I stay up too late on my phone.
Same.
Playing video games.
Such a millennial.
Yeah, and I'm such a millennial.
I said I was going to get better when I lost my phone for those few days.
Playing Skyrim all night or something,
It gets worse as they get older.
I've heard.
It does. Because then they get involved.
Mm-hmm. Well, because you know from experience.
Well, now he does T-ball.
Mm-hmm.
He does T-ball, and now that's what we do.
T-ball drama is also good.
Okay, first of all, the parents care drama. Way more than the kids.
They care way too much.
Oh my gosh. We get into it with the umpires and everything. It's bad.
Are you one of those parents who screams at the...
Yes.
Oh,
I am one of those
parents.
Goodness. And I'm like, if they don't call a fair call, I'm like, it'll be like me, Max, and then like all the other parents on our team, and we're all yelling at her. And when she was like, I will not tolerate it. I said, well, you ain't gotta tolerate it.
I love it. Uh-oh, somebody's timer just went off. Is that
that was for me to do radio, because I had to write radio at 1 o'clock.
Well, Alexa, thanks for coming on. Any words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Be happy all the time, if you can. There you go.
There you go.
That's all I got for you.
Bye, everybody.
My first tattoo.
Andrea, did you enjoy that?
I did. It waned and wandered just as I expected it to.
I don't think waned is the...
What's
the... No, I wondered. Sure. Waxed and waned, is that the...
Waxed and waned?
Oh, that's like the moon.
What's waned?
Dang it! It was a conversation.
Dang it! You're right. I feel silly.
No, you're good. It's
part of my charm.
It's a good thing we don't get paid to talk for a living. Yesterday, I was talking about we had something that came up, and I referred to an amicus brief, although Amber let me know actually it's amicus brief. And I was like, wow.
Really?
I'm sure some attorney out there is just like, this guy's a dummy.
Yeah. Dum-dum.
Well,
I don't know defense, what either of those words are, so.
I've covered a lot, but I've only ever read it. I've never had to actually say the word. That's why I think I mispronounced it.
See, that's what's always fascinating when you read the same book as someone else and they pronounce a name so different. Like Game of Thrones, Cersei, everybody says it so different, and I don't understand. Like Circe.
Yeah, some people say Circe.
And I hate...
Growing up, I always thought Magneto was Magneto.
Ah.
In my mind, it was always Magneto.
And that's the thing about making a book into a movie.
Exactly. And
everybody
the first time
sees it differently.
They said, oh, yeah, we got to worry about Magneto. I was like, Magneto? What is this?
Oh, yes.
Because I thought it sounded dumb, but now, I've gotten used to it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we both went to pretty different things there. Although, we'll talk Game of Thrones at the end of this podcast so as not to spoil anything.
I still haven't seen the ending.
You haven't?
No. We can do that next week.
Okay, we can do that next week.
We'll do it because hopefully we're doing another episode or another podcast tomorrow. So
yeah. Well, we've got some big plans coming up for a summer one that I'm very excited about.
It's going to be a competition. Just know that Jim Caldwell and Kristen Kennedy will be guest starring in this competition.
That's right. We'll probably make it a 2-parter because I anticipate it going a little long.
I anticipate blood.
there will be blood. There will be blood in the water, blood in the lemonade, blood in all the beverages.
Oh goodness, it's gonna be fun. You'll enjoy it.
All right, so we'll talk Game of Thrones later on. I can't believe you haven't watched it yet.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Speaking of other stuff Andrea hasn't watched, a giant stack of Marvel Blu-rays that I brought in for her to watch because she doesn't have a Blu-ray player.
And
do you have a DVD player?
Yes, I have a DVD player. Okay. So I was really hurt when VHS went away and DVD came in because I had a massive
lots of people don't have Blu-ray players. Like that's not that big a thing, but you're younger, and that's why I thought I thought you would.
Not at
just
heart.
Because you're also involved in like media, and I just thought,
not at heart. I'm not younger.
That's true. I guess I should have thought about the fact that you're a 67-year-old woman inside.
Yes. So I remember my best friend and I had the biggest VHS collections of anyone I've ever met in my life. Like, no one could compare. It was insane. Like, I mean, shelves upon shelves of movies.
Be Kind, Rewind.
Great movies.
Well, you can still watch them. Nobody stops you.
It's like your VHS player will run down eventually.
Well, what also happens is you realize just how bad that picture quality is. Because then you're
Picture quality's
watching
bad, and
the sound.
The rewinding is difficult. There's a lot that's bad about it.
But I also asked you if you had an HD TV in case I brought in my Blu-ray player.
I think I do.
Could watch, and
I'm not 100% sure.
You think it's possible?
I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Is it a big rectangle TV?
I just got one not too long ago, like this year. So I'm sure it is, but
yes.
like the one upstairs, I'm not sure about.
All right,
probably.
I'll bring in my Blu-ray player so you can watch. Have you watched Iron Man yet? That one I had on DVD.
Not
so
yet.
You were able to watch that.
I went to Salyersville yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
Which I guess we can say that here.
Yeah, we can
Jim
talk.
Caldwell, his father passed away. So if you want to send him some love, I think he could use it right now. He's having a hard time. It was expected, but it's never easy.
Yeah,
you and I both know that firsthand. So, just send him some love or just keep him in your thoughts. So let's transition to something happier. Favorite things.
We love you, Jim.
Yeah, we do.
Favorite things this week? Oh, mine.
You got a good one.
Full of violence.
Oh, okay.
Because I saw John Wick 3.
Oh, goodness.
And it was everything I wanted it to be.
Now, it did well at the box office. Did it finally
it was the first. Yeah, the John Wick series has gone up each time. Part 1 made some money. Then it was kind of. It wasn't a hit at the box office. It was just kind of,
But it gained a following.
It gained a following. A lot of devoted disciples like myself went around telling people they need to watch John Wick. And then part 2 did better, and now part 3 doing great. I think it may do like the Fast and Furious movies, where the first one was kind of popular, and then they kind of and then around part 4 is when it really started taking off,
rare.
And now it's huge. And so I think that's possible that the John Wick series might, no spoilers, but it might continue, and there may be even more going on with it.
Ooh!
But it was fantastic. It does make me realize that as far as violence goes, I guess there's no limit in America. I don't know, because some of the stuff I felt like it was almost beyond R. It was almost like it was an NC-17 movie. I mean, there was a lot more knife fights in this one than there were in previous ones. He kills someone with a book in a library in a very creative way.
Paper cut.
Halle Berry's in it. She's great. She has a real good scene. Have you ever watched Iron Chef America?
Yes.
The guy who eats the apple at the beginning?
Yes. I love him.
Yeah.
He's in it?
Mark Dacascos. Yeah, he's one of the
Finally, something
main
I've
villains.
seen.
See, there you go.
You've referenced.
So he's great in it. He's surprisingly funny.
That doesn't surprise me. He's funny on the show, kind of.
That's true. He is funny.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just to be a villain. He's surprisingly funny. Because a lot of times you have these, kind of kung fu.
I like a dimensional villain.
He's great. But yeah, it has some of the guys from The Raid, one of my other favorite movies. Mm-hmm. So it was everything I wanted it to be. So that's my...
And more blood than I wanted.
Well, yeah. A lot of headshots.
A little gratuitous.
Very gratuitous.
A little gratuitous.
But if you enjoyed the first 2 John Wick movies, I believe you'll enjoy the third one.
Yeah.
Andrea, what's your favorite thing this week?
So, as most people know who spend any time around me, I'm a giant Bachelorette fan and Bachelor fan. So, the new season has begun. I am halfway through the second episode right now. So I'm still working on that, but I already have 2 early favorites.
Oh, contenders. Yes. All right.
I don't think either of them will win, but they are my favorites. So, first off, I have a hot take. I think we could have our first Black Bachelor from this season. I really do. His name is Mike Johnson. I almost said Mike Jordan, but I'm like, wait, that's not right. Mike Johnson. The name's taken. Right. But both kind of,
The Bachelor and Bachelorette, a notoriously white series.
Yes. Too white.
Very Caucasian.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get some representation up in there.
I agree. We've had our first Black Bachelorette, but still no Black Bachelor. And this guy is he's handsome, he is successful, and in his intro package, he was with his great-grandma.
And sweet. Oh, it just melts in your heart.
I know what they're doing. I know this is set up to make me fall in love, and it works. Dang it works. But it seemed genuine. I can typically see through guys. Not in real life, but on the show. I
don't want to go over your history, but
not in real life, but on the show, I can typically tell when the producer's hands are involved. But this seemed very genuine from this guy, and it was just so sweet. But yeah, that's my hot take. I think.
So there's Mike Johnson. Who's the other?
Okay, so the other guy is my just favorite person who I want to be friends with. And he's actually, the more I look at him, he's kind of attractive. Oh. But his personality throws you off because he's funny. His name is John Paul Jones. And don't you have people in your life where you can't call them just their first name?
You have to say the entire thing,
yes.
John Paul Jones?
Yes. And that's what he said. He's like, hi.
I'm like that with Jim Caldwell.
I'm John Paul Jones.
Like, hey, Jim Caldwell.
My friends call me John Paul Jones, and you can call me John Paul Jones. And she's like, all right, John Paul Jones. So he is hilarious. He rode a unicycle this week randomly.
Okay, so I looked up. I knew there was a John Paul Jones. He's the bassist and keyboardist for Led Zeppelin. There's a reason I knew that name.
Oh.
So it's also, that's...
you wonder if he was named after him. Probably,
I wonder.
maybe.
I mean, there can't be that many John Paul Jones.
Oh, it's such a great name. He is just a character. You know what I mean? He's that guy in college that you were friends with.
And you're like, man, this guy's real tiring.
And it's funny.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, he's hilarious. Everybody wants to be this guy's friend, because he does not care. He's just totally himself, and you can tell. And I'm on all these boards.
On your Bachelor message boards?
This is my obsession. It's bad. I listen to podcasts about it because I don't have anyone to really dig deep with me.
My podcast feed is full of board gaming podcasts, so I can't really judge too much.
They've caught up with a few people who have said that the guy that we're seeing on the show, this John Paul Jones character, is him. That's how he really was, and everybody loves him. So those are my 2 favorites. And I hope they go far just so that I can keep having them on my TVs every week.
Mike Johnson and John Paul Jones.
I'm impressed you even remembered those.
All right, everybody. Well, yes, so coming up, we have some big stuff planned. Hopefully we think we have an interview for tomorrow lined up, or for next week. We'll be doing it tomorrow, but it'll come out next week. That'll be good. And then big plans for the summer. Summer kickoff podcast. Summer's kind of already here, as warm as it is, but...
Props to you once again. You have come up with a creative game, and we're excited.
I'm looking forward to it.
Because I really liked is it Bailey or Bailey? That was a good one.
That was my proudest moment, but I need to...
This one may top it.
I've got another game that I'm also going to come in one day, but I can't tell you about it ahead of time or else it won't work.
I'll cheat.
Yes.
You seem confident in that.
Yes. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I'll plan for that tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but a lot of fun stuff on the way. And we're excited to just keep doing this as long as we have the time to do it. We're on.
As long as we can find the time in between
as long as y'all
our normal work
listening.
hours, because we basically just have to in between everything else going on.
But it's one of my favorite parts of my day. I do enjoy it.
That's the thing. Every time I'm like, all right, we got to find time to do the podcast, and then we do it, and I have a good time.
I know, and we're always like, oh, fine, let's do it. And then we're always like, that was so good.
So yeah, reviews on iTunes if you enjoy it. Leave it on there.
If you don't worry about it.
Tell your friends. We should start a Facebook page for the podcast.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. We're just having ideas on there and talking it all out.
Can we take a new picture?
You don't like it? You don't like the picture?
You don't like the picture. You said you didn't like it.
That's fine. I look like I don't have eyes.
My face is a little less puffy right now.
Oh, okay. Then we'll get on that. We'll just retake the picture every few weeks. All right, everybody. Well, if you have enjoyed this at all, reach out to us. Twitter, Facebook. We're pretty easily accessible.
We love validation.
We do enjoy validation. Trust us. People are more than happy to let us know when they don't like something. So it's always nice when people reach out and tell us they do.
Yes.
Actually, here, let me find this. Somebody tweeted at me.
Oh, did you get a mean one? Tweets?
No. It wasn't mean. This was somebody.
That would be a good one. We
just start reading the mean tweets we get.
We could talk to everybody in the newsroom and be like, let's gather our newsroom mean tweets. And like just interview everybody. Like we could do it real quick.
That's a great idea. Nobody's ever done it before. I'm kidding.
I don't appreciate.
Wait, no, here. I was looking. Somebody was. Oh, here we go.
That hurt. Mean.
No, because here's the weird thing. I feel bad about you giving me praise for my idea coming up for the summer thing, because I didn't steal it, but it's definitely something I've heard other people do before. And so I just thought it'd be a fun idea for us. So I don't want to completely say it's an original idea, although I'm obviously adapting it some for us.
Okay.
But
noted.
Somebody responded to our Marvel episode and said that Mark Camper, I'm relieved to know that I'm not alone in swapping the Black Widow, Scarlet Witch names in conversation.
Yes.
See, so I don't feel bad now.
It's because of ScarJo. It's
exactly.
So confusing.
ScarJo playing Black Widow, and then Elizabeth Olsen playing Scarlet Witch threw me off. And also, Bob Herzog from WKRC responded to my tweet about finding makeup, so that's nice.
Oh, yeah, he found the perfect shade and he didn't know whether he should brag about it or not.
I said, I bought new makeup. I went a shade lighter because I thought my other makeup was too dark.
The transition between seasons is so difficult.
It's a perfect match, but as a man, I don't know if that's something I'm allowed to celebrate.
Absolutely. I don't understand why more guys don't wear makeup, honestly. Not like excessive. I'm just saying, like, if you have a pimple, if you want to cover it, who cares?
Well, I don't wear it in public or anything, but I just mean when I'm
But why not? Like, I don't get it.
Because, I also usually wear it because I don't want to be the dude covering the news out of a fire, like walking up to some firefighter and I've got makeup on.
But if you do it right, they won't notice. It would just be for little bitty things like that no one would notice. Like, honestly, I've seen you with makeup on. I can't really tell a big difference.
Alrighty. Also the new trailer for Downton Abbey just came out, for the Downton Abbey movie. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Literally just came out. We'll watch that later.
Also, guy liner. Maybe unpopular, but I am a fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes your eyes pop. And guys have the longest eyelashes.
It works for the Egyptians.
There are so many reasons.
I do have long eyelashes.
They're so long. I'm coveting them right now. They're so long.
Okay. Well,
if I could take a curler to those babies.
I'll think about some guy liner. And everybody, I'm glad you've stuck around this far, as long as we've rambled. But we've got some exciting things coming. So stick with us, everybody. Bye.
Bye.